Hello team. I'm going to show you in this video how to go about moving a card through the process of to do, to doing, to inspection, to approval, to going live, and to done. Just what that looks like. So getting started, we've got this card in to do, right? And let's just assume that there's a few more cards, A, B, and C that are also in there, maybe a little lower priority. And that those are also assigned to Rip. But he's got a couple of things to tackle, and one of them happens to be due today. So what Rip is going to need to do is take this card, and even though it's a lower importance, the urgency is there, and Rip decided that, okay, you know what, we don't want to postpone this one, even though I've got a more important project. I'm going to work on this one today. So we're going to go and press L over top of that for the labels. And we're going to change this to the #1 priority and remove the high importance. So this is the very first thing that he is working on today. So now this is doing. He's now doing this because it's marked as green. When he completes his work on it, he'll probably send me a little message, @ Ryan, or really I'm gonna have to @ Rip him, but this is done. Let's get it inspected. Ignore this. Don't want him to be totally confused here. So just finished that up. I gave him a little note about what needs to be done there, and now we can just move that right over to inspection. So now that it's in inspection, we're going to change the owner of it. We're going to change that from Rip to Tara, actually. Maybe I'll just go in here and do that. So here we go. Tara is going to be on it, and then Rip we're going to take off. So it's now Tara's job to inspect that. So if it were a really important project that Rip needed to be reporting on, we'd probably keep him on that. That's sort of a judgment call for you. But now Tara is there, and she has to inspect it, and the due date for the inspection, we're going to say, is 5 p.m. today. And then we might even mention in a Slack channel or in a direct message to Tara that, hey, we've got this hot thing that really needs you to jump on it. I know this shifts up your schedule, right? Because usually we're trying to schedule things in for people with several days of lead time so that it doesn't conflict with their other important items. But we go ahead and do that, especially with proofing. We want to be able to we can proof things right away, try to get fast turnarounds there. So Tara is available for that. Now, when Tara has finished doing that, she's going to assign it back to Rip, remove her from card, and put Rip back on. And I'll say, send Rip, this is complete. This is reviewed and ready for approval. So now Rip's going to need to get some approval from Sandy Claus, right? So we're going to remove that label of priority, because it's already moved over, so it's no longer it's already an actively moving project, and now it needs approval. So when Rip talks with Sandy Claus next, he's going to discuss this card. He's also going to potentially just email them right then, and that way, when he sees this in his inbox, if he's waiting for Sandy Claus and they don't get back, he might message them again, or he might just say, you know what, let's push this. I'm waiting for them. It's in their court. I'm going to change the due date to the 25th. So now that's over there. Great. Now Sandy Claus gets back to Rip and says, great, let's do this. The only difference is I want to make that collar a pink collar instead of a white one, whatever it is. And Rip says, okay, great. We're now going to go live. And so for go live, he's going to put it back to working on, something that he is actively doing, and he needs to now buy the collar, right, to complete this project. So let's just say this was the rhinestone collar project, right? And making sure that in the very beginning we put in the estimated number of hours for this project. So the rhinestone collar, he's got this going. And now that the collar is purchased, he's gone on Amazon and purchased it. Now that can be marked as completed. So we'll go back into labels. We'll remove the priority one that I'm doing. And now we'll go, I'm just doing this because my picture's here. You know, in here, resources and done is a gray card. So anytime there's something in go live and done and it's marked gray or black, right? That means that that card is completed. And so in order to finish completing it, Rip's just going to check off this date. And now that card is done. I will show you later, as a project manager, how to archive all of these cards, you know, once the project itself is complete. But that's up to the project manager, the person who's in charge of the project, to archive the cards. As a contributor, your job is to bring it over here and get it to the point of being done. So that is your job as a task owner, and that's how we move these through the process. The only other piece here that I want to add is that you know, we also have resources, right? So resources and projects don't move through the process; they stay here all the time. So if a resource is you know, client files on box drive, or we can even just say box/drive, right? And we're making that a card, and we're going to link it to our Google Drive and to our box, right? So that those files show up here like we saw earlier. If we're doing that, we're going to make this a resource, because that's not something that needs any action. It doesn't need to be monitored for health. It's just there so that the team has one sort of source of all of the information that's available about that client in one place. So they don't have to go hunting through Box, hunting through Drive. And when you need a file, you're either going to find it right in your Trello, or if you're looking for files that aren't directly related to a task that haven't been attached to a Trello card, you'll probably find it in your Box Drive folders that are attached, or another resource card. So resources also don't get this prefix because there's not a particular owner and there's not a number of hours. So I can, you know, when I'm looking at just my filtered cards, I don't see those because I'm not on them. But if I wanted to find resources, I would just press the letter Q and it would show me all of the cards on the board, including those resources. So we'll get into projects in the next video, but I just wanted to give you that overview and help you see how the flow happens start to finish.